Hi and welcome to my Python YouTube channel. It's awesome to have you here. If you like this video, a thumbs up would be great. And make sure to subscribe for future videos. I also have a blog at prosperacoder.com with lots of cool stuff, so feel free to check it out. This is just another video in the Functions in Python series. If you haven't watched the previous two parts yet, feel free to do so. Here they are: Introduction to Functions and Functions with Parameters. Today we'll be talking about the return statement. You can also read the written version of this video on my Python programming blog at prosperacoder.com. Now we know functions that do something. In all the examples in the previous parts of the series on functions, the functions did something, like printing some text, but they didn't return anything. Let's have a look at our inch to centimeter function again, which we defined in the previous part. And here, this function does something. It prints this message. So this function just prints a message, but we can't use the result in calculations or embed it to a string, for example, because the result was not returned. A very nice feature of functions is that they can return some value. This way we can use functions in expressions. And now let's talk about functions that return something. Let's modify our inch to centimeter function so that it doesn't print a message, but instead returns a value. So instead of printing this, it should return something, which means we need the return keyword. And it should return inches times 2.54. Now the function returns a float number, which means it may be used wherever a float number could be used. Here's an example. Print the diagonal is 52 inches, which is equal to, and here we will have the result returned from the function. Here's the function, here's the parameter 52. This is now multiplied by this value, and we get the result. Let's run this. And here we have it, 52 inches, which is equal to 132.08 centimeters. Good. Another example. Let's use the following code. Instead of this, we'll use this. Size equals, now here the program will ask us for some input. What diagonal in inches do you need? And it will store this input in this variable size. So if our value is greater than 100, it will print our maximum size is 100 inches, which is 254 centimeters. Here I could use the function 2 to calculate this, but as this is just a fake string, I just put it literally here. But otherwise, if the value is not greater than 100, the following message will be printed. Okay, looks like it's, and here the result from the function will be returned. So let's run this. And here's a possible output. What diagonal in inches do you need? Let's say 50. Okay, looks like it's 127 centimeters. Or let's run it again with a different size, like for example 125. Our maximum size is 100 inches and so on. Good. A function may return exactly one object, but it doesn't have to be a simple object like a string, int, or float. It could also be a list, tuple, or dictionary. We can use this feature to make the function indirectly return multiple values. Suppose we need a function that takes a list of numbers as a parameter and returns the minimum, the maximum, and the average value of all the numbers. We'll do it in two ways. First, let's make the function return a 3-tuple. Well, here's the function, stats. Here's the parameter numbers, which is supposed to be a list. And here are the three values, minimum, maximum, and average. and they are returned as a tuple. So here our function is used inside the print function, and it should now calculate these three values, minimum, average and maximum, using this list. Fine. And now let's run it. So as you can see, here we have minimum, which is 1. Now 4 is the average, so these numbers are all summed using the sum function and then divided by the length of the list, so the number of elements in the list. And 7 is the maximum value. Good. And now let's make the function return a dictionary. So instead of the tuple, we will return the following dictionary. Okay? And we'll use the same code for our print function. Let's run. And now we have the dictionary with min for minimum, average, and max for maximum specified. We can check the type of what is returned by using the type function. So let's check it out. Type of what is returned by the stats function. And the type is dictionary, as it should. If instead of calling the function with a list, we just passed the name of the function to the type function, like so, we would get just function, because stats is a function. Now, as far as the return statement is concerned, we can have 4 situations. 1. There is no return statement. In such a case, a function ends after the last statement in the function body is executed. The function returns a special value none. 2. There is one return statement followed by an expression. In such a case, the return statement ends the execution of the function. The function returns the value of the expression following the return keyword, like here. 3. There is one return statement, but it's not followed by an expression. In such a case, the function ends and the special value none is returned. So we may have just return without any value after it. And 4. There are more than one return statements. In such a case, the execution of the function ends as soon as the first return statement is executed. The return statements don't have to be at the end of the function. They can be anywhere inside the body of the function. Let's have a look at an example with multiple return statements. Well, let's define a function which uses the return statement more than once. So here's our function with one parameter, and now here we have a condition. Now if this condition is met, this value is returned. Otherwise, if this condition is met, this is returned. Finally, in any other case, this value is returned. So now we have 3 possible execution paths depending on the age passed as the argument. Only one execution path will be followed, so only one return statement will be executed. Let's try this function out on the following code. Let's define a dictionary with 4 elements, and then in a loop, let's use our age descriptor function like so. Stage of life equals age descriptor, and here we take each element of this dictionary one by one. And now here we will use the name of the cousin for name, the age of the cousin for age, and stage of life as the first positional parameter here. So stage of life will be the result of this function. So it will be one of these strings, a child, a teenager, or an adult. And here is the output. Luke is an adult because, as you can see, the age was 28. So this path was chosen. And 11 is a child because age was less than 13. So this path was chosen and this return statement was executed, and so on. What the function returns may be conditional. You can use a ternary if statement to decide what should be returned. And now let's have a look at the following function with 3 parameters. So let me just delete all that. Here's our function ordered, number 1, 2, and 3, and it should return conditionally. So this function returns true if the 3 numbers passed as arguments are ordered from smallest to largest. So if this condition is met. Otherwise, it returns false. As the function returns a Boolean value, we can use it in conditional statements. For example, so here the function is used twice, with these numbers, which actually are ordered, and with these numbers, which are not ordered. So in the first case, the first message will be printed, and in the second case, the second message will be printed. Let's check it out. So 4, 5, and 7 are ordered. 5, 2, and 7 are not ordered. Okay, that's it for this video. If you like it, a thumbs up would be great. Also, make sure to subscribe for future videos. If you want to leave a comment or ask a question, you're welcome to do so. Thanks for watching.